All right, to start, you want to get the motorcycle started and let it come up to temperature. Now you can ride it around, or you can just let it idle in the garage. But just yeah. So generally, just watch the temp. Make sure it comes up to 140 or more, and that just gets the oil flowing around a little bit more. All right, so once you get the bike warmed up adequately, first thing you're going to do is take off this side panel, or side fairing or whatever. These are 4-piece fairings. So there's a few different ones. 4mm in the front, 3mm back here in the middle, and I think 4 again in the back. For whatever reason Yamaha decided to do it. Is it? Oh, nope, I'm sorry. It's 4 all the way around. I thought one of them was smaller. Either way. There. And there. And you got these little pop-in, pop-outs here, which you just basically pop the center of down. Not supposed to be all the way through, but it doesn't matter. As long as you get the piece, you're good. And then we'll take this off. Well, all right, now once you got all the bolts out, you just want to make sure this bottom comes free with that little nubbin it's sitting on. And the fairing goes out and forward. And pops off like that. All right, so next you have this lower piece. So you got fairing bolt there, little poppy deal there. Yep. I think that's another poppy deal. Not sure if that one has to come off or not. I don't think that does. See, down in the center of the fairing you have one, which is really hard to do with your steering wheel or with your handlebar straight. Then one there, and actually none in the back. Okay. So I'm gonna pop those out. Also, you want to unplug your turn signals right here. Just like that, and then this can all come free. All right, so I got all that stuff out. You got to give this bottom a little wiggle. It's kind of wedged in with this outside fairing, and that should come free. And then the back has a little wedge too. Let's see if I can get a video of this. Oh, never mind, there is a bolt. It didn't look like it. Okay. And I missed that one behind the kickstand too. But at least we got the footage of this. Okay, and just because I forget little things like this, I wanted to point it out. So the little plastic washered fenders go on the outside, or on the side panels of it. There's one in the back by the muffler that does not seem to have one, or maybe it does. Oh, I guess it does. Just kind of stuck together. Oh wait, no, never mind, it doesn't. Yeah, so that was that one out of the back. It doesn't have that little washer. And then the long ones are the ones that have the little sleeve and rubber grommet on it. But anyways, that's as far as you need to go with the fairings. So now you have your drain plug down there and your oil filter right there. You're going to have to take loose your shift lever to get to that oil filter. You could take it off up here, but you don't want to get the adjustment wrong on that. All right, now I wrapped some tin foil around the exhaust to keep any oil from splashing on it. And then you just have a 17mm for the drain plug, and then that same 17mm if you happen to have a K&N. And I'm gonna move these hoses out of the way just for a second for good measure, but kind of wedge them in there. You can kind of see the obvious routing where those go. Let's break this loose. Wait. Yeah, that's right. A little tight. You guys didn't see me do this. There we go. There's the drain plug. Let's see if we can be good about this and not make a huge mess of ourselves. Eh, not too bad. Whoa, whoa, whoa. She's spraying and messy. Feels a little on the thin side. Motorcycles tend to wash it down with oil, or wash it down with gasoline, so that can thin out your oil pretty good. And we're gonna pop this filter free. And I bought another K&N, and I'm glad I did, because it would be a real pain to try to get a filter wrench in here. Oh, oh, oh. Well, I didn't get a very good job wrapping that exhaust. Jeez. All right, well, we'll have to clean that off before we put it back together. But anyways, get the filter out. Just like that. Let everything finish draining. All right, sorry about that. I don't normally worry about it too much, but I'm gonna put a new crush washer on the drain plug because they just happen to be the same size as the old Red Dragon there. It's not actually called the Red Dragon. I don't name my stuff quite that ridiculously. But anyways, you wanna put it back in, and as a general rule of thumb, always tighten drain plugs when you put them in, because otherwise you forget to come back and do it. And really just a little more than snug, and you are good. Dab of fresh engine oil around it helps prevent the seal from sticking a little bit. And then you're just gonna tighten that on. And again, just, you know, snug. Hand tight's what you technically are gonna use, but because it's a K&N, I got a nice little nut on there, so I can just put a little, you know, probably quarter or half turn from hand tight. Yeah, there we go. So that's not going anywhere. All right, we're gonna put our hoses back where they go. And then we're gonna clean off that exhaust. A little bit of brake cleaner does wonders for this. Just make sure you let everything evaporate before you start it up. Brake cleaner, clean it off with a paper towel. Hopefully your stuff is cooled off a little bit before you start spraying the brake cleaner, otherwise it can sizzle and boil and do bad things. All right, now we're gonna put the oil in from the other side. The oil in, as you can see, out of this 4-quart jug, we're about quart and a quarter, probably a little bit more than that. Hard to hold it level, but we're gonna get it, or start up the bike, and then let it build some oil pressure, and we'll shut it off. Just want to make sure there's no leaks before we start putting this side panel on, and then after we have the filter filled and the side panel on, then we can check the level with the dipstick. So now we can see that we have no leaks anywhere, so we can put these side panels back on, just reverse order of we can put these side panels back on, just reverse order of how you took them off. All right, so we got the side panel back on, or the side fairings back on. I forgot to mention there's one of those little push resettable popper light. Anyways, there's another one right there that we missed. Basically, it wasn't there on the bike. I added one back in, like it should be. And so now we got the bike level by putting it back on the front stand, and you can check the dipstick. So generally speaking, on motorcycles, the dipstick level is with it unscrewed. So you're gonna seat it all the way in, unscrewed, and it looks like we are about a half a quart down. So we're gonna top that off, and we are done. So that was pretty straightforward. Obviously a little bit involved because, you know, full fairing bike, but luckily Yamaha designs these things to, sorry, had you guys upside down, designs these bikes to come apart and go back together pretty well and pretty reliably. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Pretty much every other video I'm going to do for a little while is going to be on the motorcycle. And so if you guys are stopping in for motorcycle content, make sure you subscribe. We'll be putting out quite a bit of this just because, you know, it's new and it's fresh and it's exciting. And that's a whole pain in the butt, a lot of work that takes a while to shoot videos on. So we're going to try to bounce back and forth between them, just kind of fill in with each other. But like I said, subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you like the video. And one last note. You want to clean your floor off before you set the bike down and roll it through it, because oil on your, you know, tiny contact patch with the road is a really bad day. So that was just my last little hurrah. See you guys next time.